Thank you, everyone, for coming this morning. This is our annual event, and as always, it's very exciting. A couple quick announcements before we get going. The Syracuse St. Patrick Hunger Project will be held this Sunday. It's our big raffle. It's our big moneymaker for the year, and it's from 2 to 6 p.m. at Nibsy's. The tickets are $100 a piece, with only 400 being sold. The grand prize is $10,000. We have some tickets left, and hopefully will be sold out well before Sunday. All the money that we raise stays right here in central New York, and every dime goes to donations and relieving the hunger of our neighbors. Registration to participate in the parade will open on our website January 1st, and it closes February 28th. I think February 28th is the key date. It opens January 1st. Please register before February 28th. March 7th is the annual Tipperary Shamrock Run, and I'd be remiss if I didn't give my heartfelt thanks to the organizers of that event. They've created a donate button so that when the runners register, they can donate to the St. Patrick Hunger Project. And this year, the donations have come in like never before. And we really, really appreciate their support and all their help. March 8th, the parade has a kickoff party at Kitty Hoynes. And that's our own parade fundraiser, trying to raise funds to keep this grand event going. We have entertainment, door prizes, and there's lots of fun. March 13th, the painting of the green stripe at 9:30, and at 6 o'clock we have the Grand Marshal celebration at the Marriott Syracuse downtown. And March 14th at 10 a.m., there's the Mass at the Cathedral of the Immaculate Conception, and it's going to be celebrated this year by our new bishop, Bishop Lucia. If you've never attended the Mass, it's beautiful, and it's standing room only, so get there early. And at noon, the 38th annual St. Patrick's Parade. Yes, we're looking for new and exciting acts, and if anyone has any ideas, please don't hesitate to share them with us. Our theme this year is 2020. A picture is worth 1,000 words. Like Ireland, Syracuse in the spring is a vision in green. Our 38th annual parade will celebrate the picturesque beauty of the Emerald Isle and the rich history of Irish and Irish-American artists. From ancient illuminated texts to modern paintings, photography, and more, Ireland has a proud artistic heritage. The tradition has been shared everywhere the Irish have come to call home, from the four green fields to the hills of central New York and beyond. Again this year, we're fortunate again to have last year's artist, Donna Jones-Wright, create our poster for 2020. And if Curly Cahill would come up wherever he may be, he can help us unveil the poster. The circles are camera aperture openings. The little guy in the foreground is a scribe from the Book of Illumination, and the eye in the middle of the poster is a camera lens, in keeping with this year's theme. In the words of Nancy Duffy, the Leprechauns did an outstanding job again this year. They've chosen amazing honorees, our Gael of the Year and our 2 Grand Marshals. A Gael of the Year usually is someone who's not necessarily Irish, yet has done a great deal to help either our parade directly or our own community. This year's Gael has done exactly that. He was a restaurateur for many years. When he left in 2011, he and his wife, Leanne, founded a not-for-profit corporation. It's a faith-based organization offering assistance to homeless people through direct street outreach. I was humbled to meet our Gael and hear his stories. Our Gael, Leanne, and their team work tirelessly to build relationships with the chronically homeless until those individuals are comfortable accepting help. They continue to work with community agencies and help secure housing for those who are willing. Recently, they've launched a new program, Higher Ground, which is a day labor program that provides people who are homeless with temporary jobs as an alternative to panhandling. I'm proud to introduce the founder of In My Father's Kitchen, John Tomino, as our Gael of the Year for 2020.
an honor and what a blessing and an overwhelming sense of joy at the same time. I may not be Irish, but I married an Irish woman. My birthday is on St. Patrick's Day, so it's kind of exciting that I get to be in the parade on my birthday, which is a kind of an exciting thing as well. But, you know, I just wanted to say a couple of things in regards to this wonderful organization. Last year, you guys made a monetary donation through the monies that was received through the Hunger Project in my father's kitchen, and that was a blessing in itself to be able to receive funds to help us continue to do the work that we do in Central New York by feeding individuals a lunch in the beginning of our relationship building process, and then that lunch helps me get to know people and find out the story behind the cardboard sign. You know, one of the things that you said about this year in 2020, a year of vision and the theme of the parade, one of the things that we tell our friends, we call them out on the streets of Central New York, is we say to them every time I see them that you are not invisible. And by honoring us and acknowledging us in the year of 2020, a year of vision, you're also acknowledging all those who are on the streets of Central New York who sometimes feel like nobody sees them. And by honoring In My Father's Kitchen, in extension, you're honoring all those homeless individuals. So I just want to say thank you so much for seeing the work that we do. For me, it's all glory goes back to the Lord. But thank you for seeing our friends who are homeless on the streets of Syracuse. God bless you guys.
Before we go, we'd like to present you with this. This is made by Lamar Advertising, and Sean Johnston, who is here, he is a great friend of the parade and helps us tremendously.
Awesome.
So,
thank you.
Good. And now for our Grand Marshals. Once you hear who they are, you'll really appreciate the theme. Our first Grand Marshal has been a Central New York figure and award-winning journalist in upstate New York for more than 45 years. He's been the recipient of many journalism awards, including the Ernie Pyle Award. He's the author of 3 books, and the Tolkien Society credits this fine gentleman with serving as founder of the International Reading Day, now celebrated around the world. This Grand Marshal, unfortunately, due to a prior commitment, could not join us today. However, we are lucky, as the Irish are, and I'm proud to introduce Liam Kirst to accept this honor on behalf of his dad, none other than Sean Kirst. Liam?
And I want to apologize ahead of time. I'm not quite as animated of a speaker as my dad is, but he did have a couple of words that he wanted to pass along to you guys. And I know this is truly one of the great honors of his life. I think it's fitting, you know, with honoring the people who too often go unseen. I think he tells the stories of people who too often go unheard. And so for months, the Buffalo News has promoted a series of talks that will allow journalists to speak with the community about the profound challenges facing our profession. I was asked to do the first talk. That it happens on this morning of all mornings is an example of what everyone in this room would agree is Murphy's Law. Still, I'm so grateful for the chance to pass along this message in writing. This is absolutely unbelievable. To be Grand Marshal of the St. Patrick's Day Parade is such a great honor for myself and my wife, Nora, speaking of Irish, and for my entire family. I love this city. It has shaped our lives, and this parade is such a statement on all of Syracuse. I cannot describe how moved, surprised, and I mean this sincerely, I think he truly did, I was at the decision by this parade committee. I cannot help but think today of my parents, my family, including a Gaelic-speaking uncle, but what I know above all else is that this entirely is the result of the countless people I've written about over the years in Syracuse, the quiet people, the working people, the newcomers, the vulnerable, the true believers. That you know me is only because of them. In that sense, they are all Grand Marshals, and we walk with them. Thank you.
Yep. And I have to say, I've never known Sean to be at loss for words, but when we did ask him, he truly was. He was at a loss. He goes, I, and it took him a minute to regain his composure. It was great. The next Grand Marshal needs no introduction. I'm quite certain he knows everyone in Central New York personally. He's a native of Tipperary Hill and the grandson of Irish immigrants from Cork, Tipperary, and Clare. This fine gentleman is a renowned photographer, in keeping with our 2020, His photos of the Finger Lakes span 5 decades, and he's particularly known for his stunning landscape photography in the central New York region and in Ireland. He's also the artist of one of our former parade posters. I'm so pleased and proud to introduce none other than John Francis McCarthy.
Thank you very,
You're welcome very much.
God bless you. Thank you. Well, I can't even begin to describe what a privilege this is to represent the Irish in Syracuse for at least one day, and to be walking with Sean Kirst as well. I've got a long relationship with Channel 9 today from the time that Phil Donahue came to town. They got me to take a few pictures of that down at the War Memorial, I think. And then I think Nancy Duffy's last interview, and we had a great relationship, was when I landed in a tree in Skinny Atlas about 10 years ago. But I have to take a little issue with the theme here, you know, a picture's worth 1,000 words. Well, I looked that up a couple of days ago and discovered that in 1927, a guy named Barnard in Printers Inc. was the first guy credited with that theme and said a picture's worth 10,000 words. So when I heard the theme, I said, you know, if I just took one roll, 36 images for 300 days a year, I'd have over 1 million words to my credit. And now if I can believe what Barnard had to say, I mean, you know, he add up an awful lot of words, but this is a wonderful, wonderful thing for me, and I've been watching the people who have gotten this award, and it's terrific. So thank you very much, everyone. One last thing. No, I'm going to do everything that I can, and I'm sure Sean will as well, to make sure that the fundraiser this year for the Hunger Project and to see that we do very, very well. We're going to do everything we can to support this. Thank you.
Thank you. Good job. There you go.
Yeah, great picture. Huh?
Once again, I want to thank Sean Johnston and Lamar Advertising. They're partners with the parade. They do a great job. Does anyone have any questions before we close for today? Nope. Thank you all for coming. I appreciate it. Let the games begin. It's going to be 75 and sunny this year. I guarantee it. I've said that before. Sometimes I'm wrong. More often than not, I'm wrong, but oh well, what are you going to do? Thank you again. I appreciate all your support.